How's it going, guys? I'm here to review Black Panther. Yes, this is pretty much my first comic book movie review, so this is gonna be awesome, guys.
Tell me something. What do you know about Wakanda?
So Black Panther was made in 2018, distributed by Disney and Marvel Studios, and it's played by Chadwick Boseman. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. So this film's basically like The Lion King. So the main character, T'Challa, who is Black Panther, now that his father's died in Captain America Civil War, that's another review I'll do later in the future. He takes the throne as a king, but of course, shit happens in the middle of the movie. You get introduced to two villains. One is Ulysses Claw, and the other one, Killmonger. Black Panther is the king of Wakanda. Wakanda is an underground, or basically a world of civilization, a city that's made out of vibranium. So like I said, there are cities made out of vibranium, and their cities kept hidden for many, many, many years until things get really bad.
Called it El Dorado. They looked for it in South America, but it was in Africa the whole time.
So Ulysses Claw at first appeared in Avengers 2, Age of Ultron, and he's the one guy that's played by Andy Serkis, and Andy Serkis plays Gollum in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Ulysses Claw is the one fool that has like a robotic arm that shoots lasers, and Claw's goal is to pretty much black market the vibranium and make a use of profit, blood money all over that vibranium. So that's pretty much his goal, and he escaped from Wakanda once when Black Panther, T'Challa's father, was a king. But that's the first thing he wanted to do as a king, is to get rid of Claw. And boy, he let people down when Claw escapes. So the other villain that many, many people love is Killmonger, which is played by Michael B. Jordan. And Killmonger is actually T'Challa's cousin. So what happened was Black Panther's, or T'Challa's father, killed his brother because the brother actually betrayed the Wakanda kingdom for smuggling the vibranium, so that way they can help the communities that are not doing so well. That was the whole point. That the uncle and Killmonger believes that Wakanda needs to be involved in the real world problems of what's going on with these communities, and that way the vibranium can actually help these people. But Wakanda, they don't believe it. They don't want to get involved. So of course, T'Challa's king had no choice to kill his brother, which is Killmonger's father, the uncle. So when T'Challa's father died, that's why Killmonger wants to challenge T'Challa for the rightful kingdom, of course. He wants to take over of Wakanda. He wants to be king, pretty much. So that's why this movie kind of reminds me of The Lion King.
And made it out alive.
That's pretty much the plot in a nutshell. Black Panther, what did I think of it? So, I have mixed feelings about this movie. The first time I watched it, I loved it. I watched it on my birthday, like years back when it came out. The second time I watched it, I noticed a lot of bad things about this movie, and I'll get to that. And when I watched it recently, just now, I'm just like, you know what? This movie's actually not that bad. So, pretty much, I'm like conflicted. I go back and forth with this movie. This is one of the most different Marvel movies, and this is one of those most real-world, most political Marvel movies. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind if they shove politics into films, unless it's done right, of course. This film, I felt like it was trying too hard to put out a message. Like, literally, it tried too hard, to the point where you're like, okay, we get it. It's obvious that you guys are trying to put a message. What else I didn't like about this movie at first? So I didn't like, there are some scenes that look cool, and there are other scenes, the CGI, the special effects looked weird and it looked off. It kind of reminded me of like a PlayStation 2 or a PlayStation 3 video game. That's how bad the CGI was in certain parts. The story was kind of, it just, like I said, it reminded me too much of The Lion King. The story was kind of like a little all over the place, just a little. But the more times you watch it, the more you'll get used to it. So it took me quite some time to adjust to the plot. Um, Black Panther, it's not a bad Marvel movie, and I just don't like when people say this is the first African American Marvel movie, which I highly disagree. Blade, that came out in 1998, the one with Wesley Snipes. In my opinion, that's the one where it started this whole Marvel movie trend, or at least launched its popularity, and that was the one that was the first African American Marvel movie, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can see you. The world.
And when the movie came out, it was so overrated. A lot of people were talking about how it's the greatest Marvel movie like ever, and how it's the best movie of the year. And I don't know. I mean, the movie was pretty good, in my opinion, but it wasn't that good. So I think this movie is just highly overrated, in my opinion. That's just my personal thoughts. Like I said, a lot of people liked Michael B. Jordan's Killmonger. Killmonger was a cool villain. He had a cool backstory. You can actually feel for the character, and you can actually understand why he's doing all this like evil things. But at the end of the day, I feel like Killmonger was he was kind of trying too hard. I call him a try-hard villain. Like, he's like, what's up? What's up, cuz? I'm taking your kingdom, fool. Okay, I'm over exaggerating, but that's how I took it from the movie. Jesus Christ, my hair. So if I had to rate this movie out of 10, I would rate this movie, to be fair, I would rate this movie a 6 out of 10. I mean, it's not one of the best Marvel movies, in my opinion, but it's certainly a respectful one. So it tried to do some stuff that normally any other Marvel movies wouldn't do, so that I appreciate. So, like I said, rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman, who played Black Panther. This is one of those Marvel movies, you either like it or you hate it. And this movie was really, really overrated, in my opinion. So that was my quick review of Black Panther 2018. If you like this movie, good for you. For me, it was just alright. Please leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And I'll see you guys in the next one.
Soon, there will only be the conquered and the conquerors.
Step into the spotlight.
You are a good man.
Step into the spotlight.
With a good heart. And it's hard for a good man to be a king.